Homeowners in more than 500 areas have been warned to protect their properties today from the risk of rising floodwaters. Let's go to central London and our studio there, Liz Pearce, the CEO of the British Property Federation. Liz, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What situation then do the property owners who are being flooded, have the prospect of flooding, what is their situation in terms of what their recourse can be?
Well, of course, all property owners, one hopes, will have some form of insurance. And this is the bit that we're particularly interested in, because given the sort of rising incidence of floods over the last few years, it has become increasingly difficult to get insurance or indeed to renew your insurance policies. And this has been exacerbated by the fact that the Association of British Insurers and the government have been unable to renew the agreement that they have had for many years, something called the Statement of Principles, which basically means that pretty much everybody, wherever they live, could actually get insurance. So we're deeply worried, looking forward, even when people have sort of mopped up after this particular incident, that we're going to see more and more people who won't have access to insurance.
Right, so what's being done about it, Liz, or what potentially should be being done?
Well, we've been pushing very hard with the Association of British Insurers to try and persuade the government to come to some sort of new agreement to renew this Statement of Principles, which actually finishes next year. Now, actually, the insurance industry, I think, have come up with a very good idea, which is basically to put a little bit more onto premiums in order to pay for those sorts of insurance policies that you perhaps wouldn't normally give if you thought there was a high risk of flooding. But we need a bit of government help to actually sort of get this off the ground the first few years while you try and build up enough funds so that this scheme will actually work. And at the moment, we have no agreement from the government and no sense that any support is coming from the government, which to our mind seems rather foolish, because the government will be faced with an even bigger bill helping places that, homeowners, property owners generally, and it isn't just homeowners, it's commercial property owners who haven't been able to get insurance but will need sort of some form of help.
The counter-argument to it is, of course, that if you buy a property, a home or a business, as you say, on a floodplain, why should the taxpayer foot the bill?
Well, I think we're seeing flooding in a lot of places where we didn't actually expect to see flooding. I've listened to the reports over the last sort of 24 hours or so, and people are saying they have never seen flooding in some of these places before. Also, a lot of these people and indeed these businesses have been there for a long time. So this isn't about new property built in floodplains, which we hope would not happen anyway, given the particular planning law. So you can't just sort of expect these people to disappear. You've got to find some way of actually protecting them.
Some people, Liz, question the whole insurance game, if I can put it like that people pay in all their lives and then when they need something in return for all of that paying in, there is a reluctance. Do you think that the insurance business, the home insurance, the property insurance business in general needs to be looked at?
Well, I'm not a spokesman for the insurance business. All I can say is that from the property perspective and people who own and invest in property, it's pretty essential that we have some good working system of insurance. If you don't have insurance, you won't be able to get the upfront finance to actually buy places. People won't be able to get mortgages. So, maybe we do need a root and branch look at how insurance works. But for the moment, we need to make sure that the system we've got actually underpins the equally sort of valuable system of home ownership in this country.
As you say, the deal coming to an end. I mean, how urgent is it? Can it be hung over until next year?
The actual Statement of Principles comes to an end next June, but the problem is that people who are now seeking reinsurance,
right,
seeking to renew their insurance policies, are meeting a sort of degree of uncertainty from the insurance providers because, of course, they don't know what's coming next year. So this is becoming very, very critical. Mr. Benyon, I think, is making a statement in the House this afternoon, probably speaking as we're speaking now. We would like him to get on with this.
OK. He's not speaking yet, but we are expecting him. Richard Benyon, the Floods Minister, will bring you that statement live. Liz Pearce, thank you very much for talking to us today.